Your Highness, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Emir of the State of Qatar. Your Excellency, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdurrahman bin Jassim Al Thani, Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Qatar. Heads of state, heads of government, ministers, distinguished guests, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and dear friends. A very warm welcome to the Doha Forum. I'm Rida Fakhri, and it is an honor to be back with you as we confront some of the most urgent challenges of our time. The Doha Forum's theme this year, Justice in Action Beyond Promises to Progress, could not be more timely or indeed more necessary. We meet at an inflection point, a moment that demands more than speeches and declarations. It demands courage, conviction, and honesty about the world we live in and the future we want to build. Justice will not advance if it remains an ideal on paper. It must become a shared responsibility, a collective commitment that translates into real consequences and tangible reform. If we want to dismantle structural inequalities, if we want global institutions that serve all nations and all peoples, not just the most powerful, if we want accountability rather than impunity, then we must challenge the status quo, not tiptoe around it. Leaders must uphold the rules that they themselves have promised to enforce, ensuring that no nation is above international law and that human dignity stands above political convenience and other interests. Smaller nations in Europe and across the global south have shown us something crucial, that accountability does not need permission, that justice doesn't need anyone's endorsement. It needs sovereign equality and the courage to defend it. Justice begins when we stop settling for empty promises. It materializes when progress becomes the standard, not the exception. Nowhere is this painful reality more clear than in Gaza, where every child, every family still lives under the crushing weight of our silence and at times our active complicity. Their suffering has become normalized, almost trivialized, too often ignored or simply dismissed. And Gaza is not alone. The injustices there echo across every region where children are bombed and starved, denied safety, denied education, denied shelter. From Sudan, where 15 million people are displaced, where tens of thousands die of hunger and disease in overcrowded camps, to communities shattered by war across the world. Justice should never be optional, not for Palestinians, not for Sudanese, not for Ukrainians, Afghans, or anyone else whose basic dignity and human rights are being stripped away. Inaction has a cost. It isn't only measured in lives lost. It is also measured in the erosion of our moral credibility, our empathy, the very qualities and values that define us as human. Let us be candid as we begin this Doha Forum. Justice is failing. Small nations are drowning in debt while promised climate financing never arrives. AI and new technologies have widened the gap between those who hold power and those who don't. Millions of jobs disappear while utopias designed by elites are selling us those developments as solutions. Public trust is collapsing, and when trust collapses, justice collapses with it. Even worse, those who uphold the law, judges, international courts, prosecutors, are under direct attack when courts are bullied for applying the law equally When accountability is treated as a threat, not a duty, the international legal system begins to crack under the weight of double standards and hypocrisy. So as we begin this forum, we must ask ourselves, how will we rebuild trust in our institutions? How can global systems serve humanity, not geopolitics? How will we ensure accountability for governments and leaders who violate human rights and commit crimes against humanity? This year's Doha Forum is not about talking points. It is about action, about proving that commitments are more than words. So let us dare to disrupt, to rethink, to reimagine the world, not as it is, but as it must be. Let us transform our shared ideas and ideals into measurable action. Let us believe in justice when the world gives us every reason not to. Let us act now to reverse the collapse of global trust. The Doha Forum remains a vital platform, a vital place where the world's leading institutions and thinkers can forge meaningful partnerships and this year create real and lasting change. Justice is possible, but only if we act with courage, with conviction, and with collective will. And now to officially open the 2025 Doha Forum, it is my distinct privilege to invite to the stage the Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Qatar, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سيدي حضرة صاحب السمو الشيخ تميم بن حمد آل ثاني أمير البلاد المفدى حفظه الله، أصحاب الفخامة، أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، السيدات والسادة، أرحب بكم في منتدى الدوحة في دورته 23. هذه المنصة العالمية الرائدة التي تجمع صناع القرار وقادة الفكر والخبراء من مختلف أنحاء العالم، وتشكل مساحة مؤثرة للحوار حول التحديات الكبرى وصياغة حلول عملية لها. ويأتي المنتدى هذا العام تحت عنوان ترسيخ العدالة من الوعود إلى واقع ملموس، وهو عنوان يعكس حقيقة نلمسها جميعاً: إن الفجوة بين الخطاب والممارسة تتسع، وإن العدالة باتت في كثير من الأحيان غائبة عن مسار القانون الدولي وسط عالم تتقدم فيه المصالح على المبادئ ويستبدل فيه القانون بالقوة. الحضور الكرام، نجتمع اليوم وعالمنا يشهد تفاقماً غير مسبوق للأزمات، ليس بسبب غياب الموارد أو المعرفة، بل بسبب غياب المساءلة واستمرار النزاعات دون حلول عادلة، ما يشكل تهديداً مباشراً للسلم والأمن الدوليين. فعندما تدار الأزمات بمنطق القوة بدلاً من القانون، وحين يبقى المعتدي بعيداً عن أي مساءلة، فإن النظام الدولي يتحول إلى ما يشبه مجموعة من الوعود غير المنجزة. السيدات والسادة، لقد كشفت التوترات المتلاحقة أن إدارة الأزمات بحدها الأدنى أو الاحتفاظ بتوافق دولي مؤقت دون معالجة جذور الصراع لم يعد خياراً صالحاً. فالأزمات حين لا تحقق حلولها العادلة تعود أشد تعقيداً وتتمدد إلى ما وراء حدودها، والتوافق المؤقت لا يوقف التاريخ بل يؤجل استحقاقاته. لذلك نقول اليوم بثقة: الحلول العادلة وحدها هي التي تصنع السلام المستدام وتمنع استمرار دائرة النزاع والانقسام. ويظل غياب المساءلة أحد أخطر مظاهر الاختلال في نظامنا الدولي، وهو ما يتجلى في منطقتنا فمعاناة الشعب الفلسطيني تحت انتهاكات صارخة للقانون الدولي والمآسي التي يشهدها السودان من مجازر وانتهاكات جسيمة تبرز جميعها أن تحقيق العدالة وحماية الحقوق شرطاً لا غنى عنه لصون استقرار المنطقة ومنع تفككها. وفي سوريا، وبعد سنوات قاسية من غياب العدالة، يمضي الشعب السوري في مسار يأمل أن يقوده إلى التعافي ضمن عدالة الانتقالية تعزز التماسك وتنبذ الطائفية، مما يهيئ الطريق نحو سلام يطوي صفحة الماضي ويستند إلى المشاركة والعدالة. السيدات والسادة، إن ما تواجهه منطقتنا من تحديات ليس معزولاً عما يشهده العالم من تراجع خطير في احترام القانون الدولي والاستخدام المفرط للقوة دون محاسبة، وإضعاف دور المؤسسات الدولية، كلها عوامل تنتج بيئة دولية تتزايد فيها المخاطر وتتآكل فيها ثقة الشعوب بالنظام العالمي. إن عالمنا اليوم يحتاج إلى إعادة الثقة في القانون وإلى منظومة دولية أكثر عدلاً، وإلى تمكين المجتمعات والمنظمات الإنسانية باعتبارها شريكاً أصيلاً في صنع مستقبل أكثر استقراراً وشمولاً. فالسلام الدائم لا يتحقق بقرارات شكلية، بل بجهد تشاركي يضع كرامة الإنسان في صميم كل السياسات. الحضور الكرام، إن دولة قطر تؤمن بأن العدالة ليست غاية سياسية فحسب، بل ركيزة أساسية لصون السلم الدولي وترسيخ الاستقرار، ومن هذا الإيمان تنطلق سياساتنا من تطابق القول مع العمل، ومن انسجام المبادئ مع الممارسة، ومن التزام ثابت بمسؤولية دولية لا نميز فيها بين الأطراف، بل نقف فيها إلى جانب ما يخدم الإنسان ويحفظ كرامته. وسيراً على هذا النهج تواصل دولة قطر دورها في الوساطة الفاعلة باعتبارها أحد أعمدة سياستها الخارجية، فتبادر إلى فتح قنوات الحوار وتوفير منصات تفاوض موثوقة وتسهيل التفاهمات بين الأطراف المتنازعة. ولقد أثبت سجل قطر من النجاحات في جهود الوساطة والثقة التي يبديها المجتمع الدولي بالدور الذي تقوم به في تحقيق السلام أن الوساطة ليست رفاهية سياسية أو خياراً مصلحياً بالنسبة لنا، بل منهج راسخ نمارسه بإخلاص، إيماناً منا بأن السلام الحقيقي يبدأ من الإشراك لا الإقصاء، ومن توسيع المساحات المشتركة لا من تعميق الانقسام. وقد تجسد هذا النهج بوضوح فيما تم التوصل إليه بالأمس، حيث نجحت دولة قطر بالتعاون مع شركائنا من النرويج وإسبانيا وسويسرا في تحقيق اختراق مهم بين حكومة كولومبيا وجماعة EGC المعلنة ذاتياً. فقد أتاح الاتفاق فرصة حقيقية لتعزيز أمن الكولومبيين وصون كرامتهم، ومنح المجتمعات المتأثرة بالنزاع بارقة أمل عملية للخروج من سنوات من العنف، كما فتح الباب أمام مسار سياسي منظم يهدف إلى نزع السلاح ومكافحة إنتاج المخدرات وتصديرها، وبناء سلام مستدام في إطار متفق عليه، بما يعيد الاستقرار إلى المناطق التي طالها الصراع، ويؤكد أن هذا التقدم أن الوساطة الصادقة والمسؤولة قادرة على حماية المدنيين وفتح الأبواب أمام سلام يرتكز على المسؤولية والثقة والتزام الأطراف بما يخدم الشعوب. السيدات والسادة، العالم لا يحتاج إلى مزيد من الوعود، بل يحتاج إلى عدالة يمارسها الجميع دون ازدواجية في المعايير، ومسؤولية يتحملها الكل دون محاباة، وشجاعة تترجم الأقوال إلى أفعال. أتطلع أن يشكل هذا المنتدى خطوة إضافية في هذا الاتجاه، ومنصة لتعميق التعاون بين الحكومات والمجتمعات والمنظمات الإنسانية من أجل مستقبل أكثر إنصافاً وأمناً للبشرية جمعاء. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much indeed, Prime Minister, for giving us much to think about and act on to ensure that the principles of international law and justice are indeed applied universally and consistently, and how smaller nations have a big role to play. Now, the Doha Forum has built a tradition over the last few years of recognizing and honoring the work of individuals and organizations for their courageous work. This year, the Forum is honored to present its annual award to two individuals for their leadership and for the transformative work that they have done in ensuring that children in the most challenging environments like Afghanistan and Palestine have the support they need to get a proper education. Here's a look at who they are.
I'm right now standing inside Amr ibn al-As School in Sheikh Radwan neighborhood in Gaza City.
Educating Afghanistan's next generation is still a major challenge. More children are going to school than a decade ago, but many girls in remote areas are still being denied an education.
Our warmest congratulations to the Doha Forum 2025 award winners Alex Thier and Saad Mohseni for their vital contributions to education in some of the world's most challenging places and environments, Palestine and Afghanistan. But for the past 20 years, they have also helped create innovative programs across South and Central Asia and the Middle East through the companies they have led, reaching millions of people in need. It is now my distinct honor to invite His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Emir of the State of Qatar, to present the awards to this year's worthy recipients. Thank you very much, Your Highness. And once again, congratulations to the Doha Forum's awardees, Alex Thier and Saad Mohseni. Now, we have a rare opportunity to hear from a man who has helped build our digital world. A titan of technology, he co-founded Microsoft and made personal computing mainstream. Over the last decade, he has shifted from building technology to shaping the world's most urgent debates, from public health and climate change to AI, reminding us that these are not distant threats, but immediate emergencies that affect the lives of millions of people across the world. Today, as he continues to push for reforms in our global conscience, he may matter even more for what he says than what he does. As chair of the Gates Foundation, he is writing its boldest chapter yet. He announced this year a $200 billion commitment over the next 20 years, with the foundation set to close its doors in 2045. So now is the window of opportunity to focus on the world's most pressing challenges while there is still time. He is unafraid to provoke debate ahead of COP30 in Brazil. He emphasized that climate strategy must first prioritize saving lives and reducing poverty, not just cutting emissions. And he has warned that AI, while transformative, must be developed with clear-eyed focus on true value. How did he do it all, and what can the rest of us learn from his remarkable journey? Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Bill Gates.
Good morning, Your Highness, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. Thank you. It's great to be back in Doha. Also, congratulations to the fantastic winners of this year's award. Both of those individuals are incredible exemplars and work with organizations that we support. They're not only helping to educate the poorest in the world and give them hope, they're also helping us with the work we're doing to eradicate polio, where Pakistan and Afghanistan are the only two countries in the world that we've never gotten rid of the virus. So I'm excited to see them deserving this fantastic award. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I didn't think much about equity. I loved working on software. I was monomaniacal, working day and night. And I was thrilled that personal computers would be a form of empowerment. And that dream came true. I wasn't thinking at that time about global health. In fact, it wasn't until I was in my 40s that I realized that I don't even understand how many children die, what do they die of? As the world gets richer, are we helping children out? When I would visit Africa and other poor countries, I started to see how tough the conditions were and found that over 10 million children were dying before the age of 5. Many of them from diseases that vaccines existed for, but they weren't getting out to all the world's children. And so in seeing that, I said that the great fortune that I'm lucky to have from the success of Microsoft would go back to society to try to improve those lives and reduce those deaths. And I got to see firsthand the tragedy of a death from pneumonia or malaria. I got to see kids who are malnourished, and even if they survived, would never achieve their potential because they hadn't been fed properly at a young age. And so at the turn of the century, I created the Gates Foundation, and soon after that, it became my full-time work. And it's been incredible working with partners on all of this. Qatar, of course, is an incredibly generous country, not only in the role it plays in solving conflicts, but also its generosity in providing resources to these causes. So many groups have come together to achieve what I consider a miracle, which is that the number of children dying every year went from 10 million to below 5 million a year. It declined over twice as fast as it ever had in all of history. Part of that was getting vaccines out to those children, and a lot of it was supporting the primary healthcare systems to support those children. Unfortunately, this year marks the first reversal in this progress. Last year, 4.6 million children died. This year, it will be 4.8 million. And so we can think of lots of mothers who are facing this tragedy. But I'm also optimistic that we can stop this backsliding if we find the generosity, both from individuals and governments, and we prioritize the basic, and we focus on the innovations that will help in this area. we can go back to reducing these deaths. Running a healthcare system with great primary health care requires less than $100 per person per year. And that's the system that can prevent over 95% of these deaths. The progress is fragile. We have not only very poor countries with over 600 million people living in them, we have over 100 million people living in countries with conflict. And we need to prioritize both of these. Now, fortunately, our innovation is going faster than ever. Thanks to great science, we will create new tools. We will have a vaccine for HIV and malaria. We will have the tools to end polio and make it the second disease ever eradicated. Now, artificial intelligence has come along to greatly accelerate our progress in these areas. AI will play a role not only in the scientific discovery side for new vaccines and drugs, but AI will play an incredible role in the delivery as well. We're funding the AI companies to understand all of the world's languages, including all the dialects of Africa and Asia. So even the poorest will, just with a cell phone, be able to talk and have a virtual doctor, a virtual tutor, a virtual agricultural advisor. In fact, our goal is very simple, that the poorest in the world should benefit first from AI, not be 10 or 20 years behind, which is normally the case. So even though we have this setback in child mortality, I am not at all pessimistic. In fact, I believe over this 20-year period, we can lift up countries and make almost all of them self-sufficient. I believe that if we do the right things, we can cut childhood death in half again, down to below 2%. Now, this is going to require a lot of prioritization. It's going to require a lot of partnerships. And today, the Gates Foundation is proud to be announcing a much expanded partnership with the Qatar Fund for Development. Together, we'll support economic empowerment, for example, farmers getting much better seeds and having double the productivity, as well as health and education. Qatar is a partner in some of the greatest efforts in the world, including Gavi, which buys vaccines, and Global Fund that works on HIV, TB, and malaria. There are regional initiatives that Qatar was one of the first to help drive, including the Lives and Livelihoods Fund. And so all of this early investment, this commitment to those in the greatest need is very exciting. So people should not be discouraged. Humans are problem solvers, and we can get these new tools. And this will be the generation that can solve childhood death. It can eradicate poverty, it can eradicate polio, and it can bring down over 95% diseases like malaria, HIV, and AIDS. We should not stop with the progress we've made. Together we can save the lives of millions of children and empower them to make great contributions. It's not going to be easy, but I believe this is morally the most important cause in the world, and we should work together to achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Bill Gates, for this powerful rallying call. Together we can save lives, the lives of millions of people across the world, as you say. And thank you for sharing some of the tips and the advice that you have for those of us still young enough to dream big and ambitious enough to not just follow in your footsteps, but one day perhaps even take up the mantle. It all begins with small, uncertain steps, guided by curiosity, fueled by determination. And this is what it's all about, turning promises and ideas into concrete actions. Let us take a brief moment now to pause and reflect on what we've heard so far, while we reset the stage for our opening panel. So whatever you do, Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.